Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Heroes of Cards Invitational here on Hitbox TV. I want to welcome you back. I'm Rapid. I'm here with Forsen, and we're going to go ahead and get into our second best of 5 series. We just saw Amaz take a dominant 3-0 victory over in his series versus Frezer, and now we're going to go into Blackout, playing for Team Dignitas, and he'll be playing against Massan. So tell me what you know about these players. I guess you've probably played against Blackout a fair amount before, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I know Blackout from we have this Skype group and we have many pro players and he talks a lot, so I kind of know Blackout very well. I also know Massan. We're friends. Massan is one of those players that haven't played in a lot of major tournaments. I know he has been playing in a lot of Asian ones, which I think he has been doing fairly well. But this is like one of his first like bigger invitationals, I think. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be exciting.
he got like 5th place at IEM Shenzhen. So
Yeah.
like he has been playing in a lot of foreign tournaments and of course playing for TSM. So starting off, Massan will be playing Warrior versus Blackouts.
Yeah.
Shaman, yeah, sorry, it was a little bit of delay. But so for Warrior versus Shaman, this looks like a little bit more of an aggressive Warrior than we saw in the last game.
Yeah, it's definitely he has Harrison Jones in here, which can impact this game a lot if he plays Doomhammer. Both players actually have Harrison Jones, so this is gonna be interesting. That Acolyte is not gonna draw him a lot of cards though. It gets killed by Flame Tongue and Spider combo. So this game is looking quite grim here for Massan because he does not have any removals. He has Ragnaros, he has Groomosh.
He's got Cruel Taskmaster to remove the 1/3 if he wants to.
Yeah, but that's not really like a super optimal play here. You want to keep those for bigger stuff, combo executes and stuff like that. But when you have to, you have to.
Yeah, kind of ironic that both of the weapon user classes will both start with Harrison Jones in their hands. So there's gonna be a lot of things this series that belong in museums if they both decide to go for big weapons. Currently, none in either of their hands, so not a whole lot of options there. Just a lot of armoring up right now for Massan as he looks for more options.
Yeah, I think that Massan did a pretty hasty play there by just immediately armoring up there. I think he could have actually played the Harrison Jones here.
Just to get something on the board.
Yeah, because you're not going to be playing Harrison Jones in the next million turns anyway, unless he actually has Doomhammer in his hand right now. But I think that was kind of a hasty decision by Massan. I would have much rather seen him play the Harrison Jones and then into Karen/Sylvanas next turn.
Alright, so going from Massan, he does finally draw a weapon. So he'll at least have one turn to swing with that, but it's definitely a Sylvanas turn. So at this point, how do you deal with Sylvanas? You just try to flood the board or silence?
Yeah, when you don't have a Hex, you need to Earth Shock. So Earth Shock is happening, and just go face. There's no reason to trade that actually. You just let him do the trading because he's already silenced. And he picks up Baron Geddon, which is a very useful card against Shamans in the later stage of the game, where they just flood the boards with Totem and cheap stuff, and Warriors can't really keep up with just having fair war access and weapons and stuff like that.
Yeah, flooding the board is a really great strategy versus Warriors, especially against sort of the old style of control Warrior. They didn't really have a lot to deal with that. That's why Zoo was so good into that. But with things like Baron, it's counter to a lot of just, hey, flood the board with things like totems or really cheap monsters. It's in there, but it's probably not going to be the play here. Just immediately drop into Ragnaros.
Yeah, that's like a good play. I like that. And he hits a wolf as well, which is one of the two best targets he could have hit. Either that or the 2/4 Gnomish Engineer, Gnomish Inventor. Sorry.
Yeah, Inventor, Engineer, it's kind of the same thing. And there's a Clockwork Golem there. Maybe he invented that. I don't know. But a big board for Massan and just more totems coming out. And I guess totems are okay because, it's another Rag target out there. And I guess at this point, Blackout's just trying to flood the board and keep Rag from hitting anything important.
I mean, Massan is playing really fast here. He's actually... this is a big mistake. He shield block lost which you will always want to draw your cards first. It might give you more options. Oh, when the Ragnaros goes to the dome, and the second one it's a
Yeah,
damage Horus Golem. But he does,
this is
however, have 17 health, so he should feel fine right now.
yeah pretty bad as far as I guess hits you would have wanted to hit like maybe the Wolf and the Gnomish Inventor or something
Yeah,
like that. But especially now with Argus coming out, this is a lot of taunts, a lot of minions on the board, and I mean two Ragnaros is a pretty good thing to have on the board, but maybe not against such a wide, cheap minion lineup there for Blackout.
yeah. I mean, this is really tough when you don't get your brawl. Uh, Situations like these are very, very hard to deal with. However, he does have two Ragnaros and a can, and there's an Armor Smith.
Yeah, grabs the
Oh,
Armor Smith in there. It's probably gonna just drop the Lotheb here, but I mean, is he just relying on Rags to keep swinging?
yeah,
And
he does, and it's gonna work for him because he's clearing 3 minions a turn by having this board. So it's definitely gonna work out for him. The problem here is that Blackout just top decked his Hex, but he played Massan played Lotheb, so that's an 8 mana Hex. Not gonna do much for you. So he's in a really, really, really bad position here.
yeah, there's really no big board clear. I mean, he can go for those lightning storms, but there's no way to play them with Lotheb out there. So a
Yeah,
big turn and just swinging for face. Blackout kind of out of options.
yeah. Blackout at this point is just hoping that his opponent's Rags will hit face and that he top decks something like a Doomhammer to finish this game off, or an Alakir would also do.
Yeah, that rock biter in his hand is kind of his last lifeline of options, and especially with now Baron Geddon coming out,
Yeah,
that
this is
board
gonna
is
be a
not gonna
lot of
last.
armor. This is gonna be so much armor. This I don't see a way of Blackout coming back into this game.
He's
It's
gonna grab
it's
armor. He's got board control. There's no way to clear it, and yeah, the board just too strong for Massan.
yeah. Blackout needs a brawl here, and that's not gonna happen. So
So he can thought steal the brawl.
maybe
Yeah,
if he top decks
maybe.
it.
We'll say he'd have to be role playing a priest, and at that point you're already it doesn't work
But
very well.
it's definitely gonna be double lightning storm here. But keep in mind that the armor smith is still alive, so he's gonna draw a lot of cards here. He's thinking about hexing the armor smith to prevent that armor, but it's not a good play. And he decides that double lightning storm is the only play here.
Yeah, and it will clear out the board, a board that hasn't been clear for a very long time, at least if it does roll high and it actually leaves those rags open.
Oof,
That is
that's
about
bad.
the
He really
worst
needed
roll.
that high roll. He really needed that high roll because he needed that lightning bolt for other stuff than killing a 8/1 rag.
Yeah, and especially like without a totem that can attack or like a spell power totem that really would have turned that around. And now with Ysera coming out, there's just no way. I mean, he has the Hex in hand, so he can deal with the Ysera. So it's not like the worst card that Massan could have played. But at the same time, he's kind of behind on tempo and just so many options in Massan's hand.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, sure, he got the hex, but Shaman does not actually run that many late game minions. Like the highest thing that I think Blackout is playing is Alakir, and Alakir is not gonna do much this game, I believe.
Yeah, it does look like he's just going to go for the simple drop, not actually wasting all that many cards. He has got one from Ysera, but he's just going for cards right now. I would have expected something like maybe you drop the Harrison like you were talking about earlier, just to get cards on the board. But what is Massan trying to play around by not dropping that many cards that turn?
I mean, you want to keep, like, at this point, as a warrior, you know that the only thing that can maybe swing things back into Blackout's perspective, like, is Doomhammer. And Doomhammer gets countered by his Harrison. So he wants to keep that Harrison for his Doomhammer, if he plays it.
Well, the Doomhammer is not going to come out here, and we're just going to see hex after hex out there. Probably to save that one in case there's a big Gramash turn, but that should actually be the execute, not anything that's hexable. So for the time being. Just gonna clear. Okay, so what does Blackout do? Does he clear it with Hex or Lightning Bolt?
I mean, um, he's actually hexing his own totem here.
Ooh, that's a little desperate.
Yeah, I mean, he's played like this. I've been going on for this about this on my stream. Like, you can't play to survive. You need to play to win. Like, he's afraid of a Grommash here, and he does have the Grommash, but he also has a dream, so it's still gonna be lethal. But not knowing what your opponent's hand is like, you shouldn't hex your own totem at this stage of the game. You need that hex to win. But it's not gonna matter this game. He had a dream, so good game.
The dream. It is the dream for Massan. He'll take game number 1 versus Blackout. So Blackout's gonna need to turn the lights on for game 2. Should be hopping into that one in just a minute. But it's a best of 5 series, but it is single elimination. So if you lose this set, then you're not coming back tomorrow to play for what is actually a pretty cool grand prize. In case you guys are unfamiliar with the Heroes of Cards Invitational, make sure to check out heroesofcards.eu. There you can find out all the information about the schedule, the stream, the players, and the bracket, and also see exactly how the $2,500 prize purse is going to be divvied out. It's $1,500 for first place, then $500 for second, then $300 and $200 for third and fourth place. And we'll have all the playoff games tomorrow, but first we're actually going to run through the 4 best of 5s. Our first series was Amaz versus Fraser. Now moving into game 2 of Massan taking on Blackout. And this time Blackout is actually going to return with his hand lock, something that worked out so well for Amaz. We'll see if it's enough to get him back in the game versus Massan.
Yeah, this hand is pretty good for the handlock player Blackout. He got a Drake, he got a Faceless, he got a Soulfire even for Armor Smith if he decides to do that. The Molten Giant, not very useful. However, the Warrior, he got his Shield Slam, but no Execute so far.
And as far as handlock hands go, he does have the Drake for a turn 4 play next turn, but no Giants, so just a big Drake out there. And we've already seen this matchup play out before, and it was actually Amaz who won it out with handlock, but this is a slightly different version of Warrior. So we'll see how he's able to take it down. The shield block should be able to clear things out with the shield slam, and that's exactly what Massan's going to do. So nice on the numbers for armor, and he'll take a 1 for 4 mana trade, which is it's definitely working out in his favor and getting on towards the late game, which is kind of where that warrior wants to be.
Yeah, they're both just gonna play Sludge Belcher. It will just slow down the game. They can't get through each other's taunts right now. Ooh, that's a pretty nice draw there. Blackout drew a BGH, which is really good in this matchup. You want those removals for the late game creatures, because this kind of matchup always goes to the late game.
Yeah, Blackout actually has a lot of removal. He's got BGH, Siphon Soul, he's got a Faceless in there too, and with double Soulfire as well. You also have 8 damage there if you want to use those, but I guess that's going to be more offensive. So coining out Baron Geddon here, it's going to be a nice way to clear the board. It's also going to clear out his own silent Sludge Belcher. So see if this is this a Siphon Soul turn, or do you try to...
Because you have the BGH, you might consider other plays, but there is not really a good play. You can't Faceless and BGH that.
Yeah,
so
I think that's what
Blackout's
Blackout's
kind of Soul turn actually. You keep that 1/2 taunt alive. That 1/2 taunt is actually quite annoying to deal with as a warrior at this turn in the game. You need like an axe or something, and then it's still not even that good.
Yeah, Massan draws the Cruel Taskmaster, and he does have the axe, but you're still kind of wasting 1 turn on the axe just to hit the 1/2. So like you said, yeah, really annoying.
Ooh,
but
that's a really nice top deck.
Man, Blackout's got all the top decks. He grabs the Giant,
yeah,
the Faceless, and all of a sudden, big momentum swing for Blackout.
Yeah, but we do see a Brawl in Massan's hand, and there's an Armor Smith on the table, so he might just want to go for a Kit Kat's Brawl here. I don't know though.
Man.
He's gonna go for the Kit Kat's Brawl by the looks of it. He's attacking instantly, and he's brawling. Let's see if Kit Kat's lied or not.
I don't know. We'll see it. The Armor
Oh
Smith
my
play.
god, Kit Kats did not actually lie.
Kit Kats didn't
Holy
lie.
shit.
It's the truth. And they even changed Brawl, so you can't tell anymore.
Yeah.
But the dream. Well, he's going to be facing off against the Ragnaros here, so there's only so many ways Brawl can get you out of this one.
Yeah, Brawl. Oof, that was like super important. He didn't have the removal for those giants, so that was like crucial that the Armor Smith actually survived. He's gonna go for the Faceless and Shield Slam play here, which is really, really good. He would actually have preferred that Ragnaros to hit Massan's face to remove the armor, but it hit the Armor Smith instead, which is quite unfortunate.
But now it's BGH's turn for Blackout. He'll be able to clear the board and put out, the big 8-8 for himself, but he's still, definitely lower on that life total and has to get to 40 health on Massan.
And at this point, Massan is like, he has lethal right now, actually.
Oh yeah, I didn't actually notice that. There's not a lot of opportunities for that until you get to, the big turn 10. So with a 12 damage swing from Grommash Hellscream and the axe, that'll be Massan, who will grab another game versus Blackout. And, that was Blackout's turn to try to come back from that with his handlock. And I guess Warrior, a pretty good way to do it. Like you were saying before, that'll be game number 2 and going to Massan. So Blackout definitely needs a few extra options here. What is his last deck that he's choosing? I think it's actually going to be a Rogue coming out, but I don't know which type of Rogue this is.
Yeah, I'm expecting Miracle, but we'll see, man. Yeah, it's definitely Miracle here. And I like this matchup. It's an interesting matchup. And he decides to mulligan the Deadly Poison, Backstab, and Thalnos, which is, I all agree with those. You need to go for the Auctioneers and Drakes in this matchup, and only. If you have those cards already, you can keep... he picked up Auctioneer Conceal. This game is gonna be hard for Massan.
Yeah, a great turn 5, and he even has the coin too, so that's Auctioneer Conceal, turn 5, about the best you can. I guess the only better draws you could have are things like preparations in your hand early on.
Yeah.
But big hand for Blackout, right, exactly what he needs. And so what's Massan up to? Just, armoring up for now. He's got turn 3 plays with the extra card draw, but
yeah, he didn't draw any Fire War Axe or Armor Smith, which is really important as well in this matchup, so you can remove those early minions. It does, however, have that Death Spite in his hand, so not too bad.
Yeah, and so just the hero power is being used there. It's nothing too drastic just yet, but a couple of turns it is going to be really, really rough as that Concealed Auctioneer is going to come out, and there's not too many ways you can deal with a Concealed Auctioneer as Warrior unless you go for like a 1 minion brawl. So
yeah, like at this point, Blackout is sitting with Assassin's Blade in hand, and that can really, really backfire if Massan gets his Harrison Jones, but he doesn't have it right now. Oh, he actually just got it out of that Acolyte. That's actually huge.
This is ridiculous, and I think that's like the 4th highest weapon that you can get that off of, or get cards off of is Harrison Jones. So no questions asked.
This is where I cry every time as a rogue player. This happens to me so many times. I can't even count them. Like, this is so frustrating, especially when you coin that Assassin's Blade out, and then they have it in their hand, like at turn 5.
And that was the coin that was going to help him play, the Conceal Auctioneer on turn 5. So, man, the struggle, it's pretty real here. Blackout on turn 6, he'll finally get that Conceal Auctioneer turn. We'll see what he grabs out of that. He's going to get good cards there. He's be able to cycle at least 2 or 3. And more importantly, he saps the Sylvanas, so he's going to keep that off the board and waste that 6 mana.
Backstabbing that Sylvanas before sapping it could have also been an option, just to draw that extra card to get closer to that Leroy, now that you have 2 Shadow Steps in your hand. That Fury War Axe that is discarded is not really a big deal though. Not really a big deal right now because he has Death Spite in his hand already.
Yeah, I guess as a warrior you never really expect to be at 10 cards in your hand. So The discard there. He's already got, you know, the Witch's Bite out there, Death Bite, and with Drake's coming out, like you said, this is exactly what you want as far as cards for a Miracle Rogue in this matchup. He's got the Drake, he had the Auctioneer, and he's just, you know, swinging on a warrior who has yet to establish a whole lot. I mean, he's got the Lotheb out there, but was going to the face the right move there? Because you're going to lose your minions anyway.
I mean, I think it was correct to go face there. You don't want to trade with a warrior. You're going for damage at all time. That Lothar turn was actually pretty critical because he had so many spells in his hand like Shiv and Backstab and Eviscerate that he wanted to recycle that game. Another reason for using that Backstab the turn where he played Auctioneer is to play around Lothar a little bit. So I think he should have Backstabbed to draw that extra card.
Yeah, one more card can change a lot. You're 20 versus 27 health. So the Miracle Rogue has to watch out because you're getting on towards that big turn 8, and while there's no, you know, huge wombo combo in Massan's hand just yet, how's he gonna deal with this? So he'll be able to clear the Auctioneer with the nice Cruel Taskmaster, and the Sylvanas just comes right back out on the board. So what do you do now? Just more card draw from Blackout, but not a lot of options.
Yeah, he needs to deal with that Sylvanas before he plays minions, and he has cards for it. He has enough mana to play the Edwin Van Cleef afterwards as well, which is gonna give him 8/8 Van Cleef. Pretty strong turn here, considering his opponent has 5 armor and can't armor up and shield slam it. So he needs something like an execute or shield block. He does, however, have the Spellbreaker as we saw previously, so that's gonna be dealt with.
So Spellbreaker versus Owls, what determines which brand of silence you run in your deck? Is it more just like, hey, I'm running like a ramp style of deck, so I want bigger minions, or is it arbitrary?
Well, in Warrior, you have enough mana to use a Spellbreaker over an Owl. In Handlock, you want cheap silence, so you can actually life tap and make other plays that turn. So that's kind of the difference.
Alright, well that is going to be a board clear from Blackout in return. I mean, he's got Silence minion out there on the board in that Van Cleef, but he's still got a board. And that is going to be, I guess, kind of difficult, although, I mean, you have that, you have, I guess, options, but yeah, double Belcher here. Is that the right move, just to taunt up and try to make your opponent swing through it?
Yeah, for now it is. You know that your opponent already wasted 1 sap, so he can only sap 1 at most. Blackout is just gonna keep throwing minions at his face though. He has enough minions in his hand to do that, but he can't get through the second Sludge Belcher though. So,
okay, well, one soul...
I think you should consider Shadow Stepping your Edwin, maybe. It's hard to say. You need some kind of early aggression here. He's deciding whether or not he wants to Shadow Step it. But he did, however, only play a SI Agent this turn. No, a Farseer and an SI Agent. But I still think it would have been worth to Shadow Step that.
You know, he does have Baron Geddon in his hand, and that'll clear 2 if he wants to play it, but probably a little bit premature there. Although he does draw that Armor Smith, so... Armor Smith and then Baron Geddon and go. He does also have the ability to remove 1. It looks like, yeah, he's gonna remove the SI Agent, and then...
Yeah. That turn was really good for him. He got the board clear without using Brawl, and he still has stuff like Ragnaros and Faceless in his hand to keep up the pressure. So this is looking really, really, really good now for Massan.
Yeah, and he's also gonna stack up a lot of armor off of all those Baron Geddon hits too, with the Armor Smith out there. So he gets his health total higher and higher. The board's really big and not a lot of options in Blackout's hands. Yeah. He's got I guess nothing so far. You can.
This is kind of the
over.
Worst. Oh, he's squelching Massan. He already knows this is over. I knew this was kind of over by the point of the coined out Assassin's Blade into Harrison, but now for sure even Blackout knows it. This game cannot be won.
Yeah, somewhat ironic that Blackout's hero says so many options when he actually kind of has none.
Yeah.
He will go for at least the clear on the taunt from the slime, but that is about all he can do.
Yeah, and Massan at this point he can just throw out his rag because the Baron Geddon activates before the rag because it was placed first. So the Thomas will die to into AoE damage, and he's actually clearing with the armor smith. I don't think he's quite sure how. He actually missed lethal. No. It will go off, so he's dead. But it didn't need to attack with the armor smith.
I mean, sometimes just throwing a little bit of extra there at the end to make sure,
A little bit of
know you mean
BM maybe, I don't know, but definitely not a needed attack. And it could have made a difference, but
Yeah, 2 out of 10. So not all the way up there, but I don't know. It looks like a day full of 3-0s as Amaz picks up a 3-0 victory versus Frezer, and you just saw Massan no answer for his warrior. And this is a kind of an interesting version of Warrior 2. It's not quite the super ramp style fatigue warrior we saw earlier on, but just options across the board. And really surprised to see such a good start from Blackout's Rogue, just not paying off. The coin into Assassin's Blade Harrison Jones really turning the tides there at the end.
always painful when that happens, and that's why I stopped playing Assassin's